Hello. Oh my god. Hello. Let me just... There we go. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new. As promised in my thrift haul video, I'm gonna be taking some of those items that I thrifted and I'm gonna show you how you can upcycle them into more fashionable, trendy items. The possibilities really are endless with upcycling. I'm hoping some of the DIYs that I show you in this video will inspire you to go out and do the same thing or come up with your own ideas. So if you stick around and watch through the video, you can see how I made a couple of these familiar items into what they are right now. So what you're gonna need is this seam ripper. I have a sewing kit in my house, so I had one on hand, but you could get one from Hobby Lobby for just a couple dollars. And just take a necktie of your choice, and you're gonna wanna flip it over to the back of it, and you're gonna wanna use the seam ripper or a small pair of thread scissors and cut the seam on the back to fold it open. There's a foam lining inside of neckties that keeps it stiff, and you're gonna wanna take that and just throw it out. What I did was took one of my scarves that I already have and I laid it out, and I used a Sharpie and marked where it was. So you're gonna wanna use sharp fabric scissors to cut with about an inch allowance around your pattern. And that's because the tie fabric is thin and it's gonna fray, so you're gonna wanna hem it. I didn't have a sewing machine on hand, so I used hem tape, which is like double-sided tape that you can also get at the craft store. And I lined it around the edges of my allowance and folded them in. Hem tape is a good temporary fix for when you need to hem something but you don't have a sewing machine on hand. But if I were to do this and wanted it to be a little bit more permanent, I would have used a sewing machine and done a hem around the edge of the entire design. And that's really all there is to it. It only took me about 30 minutes and the necktie is now a cute little scarf that you can wear. Any shirt is gonna look better if you roll the sleeves. A lot of times when you thrift shirts, they're a little big on you. A tip that I had in my thrift haul, if you haven't watched my thrift haul, I have a lot of useful tips in that video, so go back and watch it. But I said, keep in mind, if you shop in a larger size, there are things you can do to make the shirt more flattering, and rolling the sleeves is one of those things. Because a lot of times a bigger shirt is gonna have a seam that falls lower on your shoulder, so the sleeves are gonna go further down your arm. If you roll them, it looks cuter and looks nicer and fits to your arm a little bit better. But the problem with that is if you roll a sleeve, it'll fall down. So for this DIY, you're gonna just take a thread, ideally matching. So what I did for this is, for the blue shirt, I took matching blue thread. So I found the spot on the cuff of the sleeve that is about on the middle of my arm, and I started from the back with the threaded needle and pushed it through to the front. And I went barely above where I came through and went back to the other side. Flipped it over and then cut the thread and knotted it twice so that the thread wouldn't come through. And you're just gonna do that again on the back side where that big stitch is on the sleeve. And you're gonna do that on both sides. Once you finish those seams, they're practically invisible and the sleeves are gonna stay rolled up. And I didn't have matching thread for the green shirt, but I did the same thing to that. And now the shirts stay rolled. This last upcycling trick is a little more time consuming, but the result is definitely a lot more satisfying. Any shirts that you thrift that are just plain or basic, what I love about this DIY is that the possibilities are endless. So I already embroidered this little lavender design on this green shirt. So what you wanna do is figure out where you want your design to be on your shirt and put the embroidery hoop centered around that. Put the small circle behind the front of the shirt and then put the big circle with the tightening screw on top of that. You're gonna clamp down, make sure sure the fabric is tight, and then you're gonna wanna screw it in. And you're gonna take a white fabric pencil, which again, if you don't have lying around, you can just get from Michael's, Hobby Lobby, a craft store. And you wanna trace out your design with the white pencil. What's great about fabric pencils is you can draw on the fabric and then it just washes out, so don't worry about messing up. You wanna make sure you have dark, crisp lines so that you can see it later once you get started embroidering. With embroidery thread, you're gonna wanna thread the needle, and you wanna have a good 4 or 5 inches of thread on one side, and then get the length of the thread that you want, cut it, and then knot it twice in the same spot so that the knot won't go through. So basically what I did for this project is I got the different colors of thread, and you go one color at a time. You can look up videos that show you how to embroider leaf patterns and different flower shapes, so you can customize this however you want. You just want to make sure once you're done with a specific color that you cut the thread with a good few inches still left on the back so that you can split those threads into 3 threads each. Split the embroidery thread in half and then knot it twice and then cut the excess so that it doesn't come through. And now these super basic thrifted shirts have really cute flower designs and they're one of a kind. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. It was fun thinking outside of the box for things that I could do to show you. I hope that you learned a few things to keep in mind when you're thrifting. And I'd also love to see if any of you try these projects out. And if I didn't explain something to the fullest extent that I should have, feel free to comment any questions. I know I didn't go into a lot of detail about the embroidery. I just sort of wanted to show you what you can do, and I wanted to keep it brief so that it wasn't too much of a tutorial. So feel free to comment any questions about it and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And let me know what you liked about the video. Let me know what you want me to do next. Feel free to like, subscribe, and more content will be on the way. Love you guys.